Hello guys, good morning. Happy Monday to you. Hope you guys had a great weekend and ready for a great trading week ahead. Now, this is kind of what we do in the market commentary. We look at 5 major markets in the world on a daily chart. and we look at what is likely to happen in them based on the technology. So I'll go through that in a second. Before I do, just need to make sure that we cover the disclaimers. So let's get those covered. They're being highlighted there at the top. Of course, it is important that you guys read it, not just because it's a legally good thing, but again, just to understand. I say this every time we do a session, whether it's a market commentary, whether it's a futures session or a stock session or forex or options, whatever we're doing, we are demonstrating how to use the product, how the technology is used. It's ultimately up to you what you do, how much you do it with, if you do it at all, if you follow what we do, if you add other things, if you don't do it and you ignore it. That's all of those choices are ultimately up to you. We are showing you how we do things, and hopefully it makes sense to you. So in terms of making sense, if you had questions as we go through, again, it might not be on the market commentaries themselves. These are normally 15-20 minute videos, but maybe you have a question about the AutoClimate. How does that work? Or how do I download the AutoClimate for free? Or how does that app work? Or how does that course work? Whatever it is, you can email me. If you tilt your head a bit, you'll see my email address there, becky@tradictive.com. Otherwise, I actually prefer that questions come through to tradewithufos.com/Becky, and I'll show you why. So questions that come through to this public space, which is here. Once you've signed up for a free membership, you literally just put in your name, email address, and follow the steps. Once you've signed up for a free membership, this space here is a space where you can ask questions publicly, which means the answers are answered publicly. So other people can see the answers to the questions, which I think is helpful because it means you don't have to email us and wait a day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever, for a response. If you're emailing instructors directly, you can just come here, post it publicly. You might already have the answer to your question before you even post it. tradewithufos.com/Becky, so you can get those questions sent to me. Otherwise, you can also use this to set up your free membership and then get the email that I'm about to go through anyway, which is what we go through today in the market commentary. So free membership helps you out with a lot of things. Once you have a free membership, you'll be set up with this. So this is an email that comes through every day. Let's just get the chart up as well. This is an email that comes through every day and that goes through those 5 major markets in the world. So we do this video to sort of expound on it, explain it a little bit, show you on a chart what we're talking about, what we mean. But again, if you want to just get this summary sent to you every day, if you've got a free membership, then you'll get that summary. So let's get started on the market summary. So what we're looking at in each market is climate, buy and sell UFOs, and volatility. So climate essentially means where do we have probability? Do we have probability up or down or kind of nowhere? We use our AutoClimate app for that. That's what we have down here, these dots at the bottom of the chart. That's our AutoClimate app. AutoClimate is a free app, so you can go and download that. Again, once you've got a free membership, you can go and have a look at how you can download that and use it on TradeStation or TradingView. So we use Market Climate to help us figure out where we have probabilities up or down or nowhere. We then look at buy and sell UFOs, which are these little flying saucer looking things. UFO stands for unfilled orders. Essentially, we're looking for where we have buy orders in a market that can push it up or sell orders in a market that can push it down. Again, we're using technology here to go through the data, highlight for us on a chart where those things are likely to be. So again, we're using technology to help us there. Then we're looking at specific charts. So in the case of the S&P, and we'll get to that in a second, we use the VIX, but in the case of other markets, we use different charts to help us figure out volatility. How far can we expect prices to move? So we look at that per market. So starting with the S&P, we can see that the market commentary tells us that we have a current upwards climate, but it's not confirmed. We see that because we have a thin blue dot there. Now, when we have a thin dot of either colour, it doesn't actually matter whether it's blue or red, that is telling us no probabilities, enough either side. So normally when we have something like that, we move on to the next opportunity. We don't want to be placing trades, risking our money, wasting our time, placing trades where we don't have probabilities one way or the other. So in this case, again, we don't have probabilities either way on the S&P, on a daily chart at least. It may be different on other charts. Now, we also need to look at the stats on market climate. So just because something is going up or going down doesn't mean it's going to keep doing that. We want to have an idea of where it might be likely to change direction. So in this case, obviously, it's an unconfirmed upwards climate anyway, so we wouldn't be doing anything anyway, but just to explain what this means, what this shows us is that normally this market goes up for 9 candles. It says 8.84. I'm just rounding up. I'm going to do that for all of the markets that we look at, whatever the decimal place is, I'm going to round it up. So 8.84, 9 candles. And we are currently on number 13 to the upside. Now what that tells us is that we've surpassed what is usual on this market for it to continue to the upside. That's not to say that it won't continue going up, or it might not confirm a climate and push itself up, but it's more likely to change direction and come down. Again, it might only come down for a day or two. It's not to say that just because we've gone past what is usual for a move to the upside, it's going to crash or anything like that. It might, but we just need to be aware of the fact that statistically speaking, we have less probabilities of a continuous move to the upside if we've already gone past what is a usual move to the upside. So hopefully that makes sense. I'll explain it again on each of those markets as well. Now, we want to look at buy and sell UFOs. So you can see here on the email that's sent out, sell UFOs is blank. That's because we're pretty much, I mean, we've fallen a little bit from the high here, but we don't have enough data above us for there to be sell orders. So there are no sell UFOs. No problem. We have buy UFOs that we can look at. The closest one is 3843.50 to 3807.75, which is this UFO right here. It's been highlighted there on the chart. So again, that's where we have buy orders that are likely to push price up. So it might be that price comes down, hits the stack of buy orders, and then continues there to the upside. But again, we'll have to wait and see what happens here, see what is likely to happen. Again, based on statistics, we don't really have enough probabilities either way at the moment. So we would kind of move on to the next opportunity. Now, when it comes to market volatility, we look at the VIX, and we can see from that and extrapolate out of that what we would expect in terms of movement up or down in given periods of time. So this first one tells us that we would expect a movement in one day on the S&P up or down of 58.68 points. In a week, we would expect a movement up or down of 129.18 points. And in a month, we'd expect a movement up or down of 268.92 points. Again, this is movement up or down. So it's not to say that it's going to be, 268 points to the upside. It could be down. Again, we use our technology, like our UFOs and our climate, to help us figure out in which direction it's more likely to happen. So again, we can just put more probabilities on our side before we start risking money and wasting time finding opportunities. So that's the S&P. Again, overall the S&P, no real probabilities one way or the other on a daily chart, at least best to leave it. So just scrolling down here to the next market. In the meantime, of course, I might be talking and you might not be understanding what the S&P is or why I'm looking at the ES instead of the SPY or something like that. If you're interested in learning about different markets or maybe trading psychology, how to build a trading plan, how to backtest that plan, we do courses. You can browse them there. All of the courses come with a 3-month complimentary access to the AutoUFOs. AutoClimate is a free app anyway. Okay, moving on to crude oil. So let's have a look here. So CL1. Again, I'm just using TradingView here to look at the continuous futures contracts here for these markets. So this is a contract that represents oil. That's what we're looking at. So in this case, we see that we have a confirmed upwards climate. It says current up, confirmed yes. So we have a confirmed upwards climate. We see that here. We have a thick blue dot. The thickness of the dot tells us it's confirmed. So it's blue, it's up, and it's thick, it's confirmed. So that's what we have there on oil. However, in terms of its probability to continue, we might be running out of this. So normally this market will go up for 7 candles. Again, I'm just rounding up that number. Goes up for 7 candles, and we're on candle number 14, which means we're twice as far as what is normal in this market to move to the upside. Again, not to say that it won't change, it won't keep doing that, but it's more likely to change direction. Again, it's not about what's guaranteed, it is about what's probable. And that's what the statistics and the technology help us to figure out. Is this market likely to continue to the upside? No, it's more likely to change direction. In fact, we've already started to see a slight move down there on the price of oil. So we'll see what happens. But again, just bear in mind, although we have a confirmed upwards climate, we do have less probabilities of a continuation of that climate. Now, when it comes to UFOs, is the UFOs we have here on the email, they refer to the UFOs that we have here on the chart. So this first buy UFO, this green UFO here, is from 57.29 to 54.81. Our first sell UFO is just above us here. That's actually what price has reacted off to push it back down. Again, sell orders normally will push price down. The numbers for that are 62.11 to 65.65. So those are the UFOs that we have here on a daily chart. And then when it comes to volatility, for this one we use OVX. And that tells us that we would expect a movement up or down in one day of 1.42 points. In 1 week, we'd expect movement up or down of 3.13 points. And in a month, we'd expect movement up or down of 6.51 points. So again, that just gives us an idea of what's likely to happen up or down, and then we can use the statistics and the probabilities from the technology to figure out in which direction that's more likely to happen. In this case, confirmed upwards climate, probability to the upside, but we've surpassed what is likely there, and we've just hit a big stack of sell orders that has started to push price down. So again, overall, not enough power one way or the other to really waste time or money getting into this trade, I would say. Obviously up to you guys, but again, that's the sort of summary there of the technology. So coming down here, of course, the UFOs, so like we've said before, the AutoClimate app is a free app. AutoUFOs has a monthly subscription depending on which broker you use, depends on how much it is. So again, you can have a look at the AutoUFO, see which broker or which platform you use, so you can figure out if that will work for you. Again, if you take one of our courses, you get the apps for 3 months free anyway. So these are the UFOs that you can learn a bit more about it there. So let's move on to the next market, which is gold, so GC1. Again, this is the continuous futures contract here on TradingView for gold. And let's just squidge price a little bit so we can see our UFOs quite clearly. There we go. So on gold, we have a confirmed downwards climate. See here it says current down, confirmed yes. We can see that because we have a thick red dot. So thick red dot tells us confirmed downwards climate, probability there to the downside. Now, in terms of likelihood of a continuation, normally this market would go down for 7 candles, and we're on candle number 6. So coming to the end of what is likely, but still have statistical probabilities that it could continue to fall. Now, we're currently here coming up to, by the looks of it, our sell orders. So if we just get rid of these things, our sell UFOs, closest one. Let's just do that and not cut through the data there. So the closest stack of sell orders is here, 1810.1 to 1831.5. And by the looks of it, where price is now, it's on its way up to that sell UFO. So if it hits that sell UFO combined with the downwards climate, I wouldn't be surprised to see it fall from there. Of course, as we say, things can break what is statistically likely. It could be that this move to the upside is the start of a break of climate and change everything over. That could be true. We manage our risk just in case. When it comes to probability, though, we have overall probability there to the downside with gold. And again, coming up to hit a stack of sell orders, which would help with that. Now, in terms of volatility, we use the GVZ or GVZ, and we can see from that that we would expect to move up or down in 1 day of 21.78 points, in 1 week up or down of 47.94 points, and in 1 month up or down of 99.81 points. So again, that's what we would expect up or down in gold. We use our climate and our UFOs to help figure out in which direction that's more likely to happen. And in the case of gold, we see more probabilities here to the downside based on the technology. Okay, moving on to the next market. Again, in the meantime, when it comes to support, if you guys are watching this and you're thinking, I kind of want help when I'm placing trades, I want somebody to talk me through a trade that they're placing, I want to understand how I would use these UFOs and how I would use this climate to be more specific on my entries, whatever it is, you can join us in our coaching sessions. Again, just click on there and follow that through. It's $21 a month for the coaching, so you can have a look at that. We also have yearly things which come with discounts. Okay, coming down to the next market here, which is the dollar index. Now, the dollar itself, just by itself, is responsible for about 80% of transactions worldwide every day. So even if you don't trade the dollar specifically, even if you don't trade currency pairs with the dollar in it, be aware of what the dollar is doing. It's a very, very influential thing. And again, just to be aware of what the probabilities lie with the dollar will potentially help you with other markets that you trade. So in this case, we have an unconfirmed down climate. So current climate is down, confirmed no. We see that because we have a thin red dot. So it's thin, which means it's unconfirmed, lack of probabilities. So again, in the case of this with a daily chart, we wouldn't have probabilities at one side or the other, so we would keep away from it. Now, in terms of stats, we can see that normally this market would go down for 6 candles, and we're on candle number 2. So if it does confirm itself to the downside, we would have probability of a continuous move down. At the moment, it's not confirmed, so not relevant. But again, like I said, if it does change to a confirmed climate, then we would have probability of a continue. In terms of buy and sell UFOs, that's what we have there on the email, which again refers to these prices. So the closest buy UFOs, this one here, those numbers are 89.795 to 89.165. Then we have our closest sell UFO, which is up here, which is 91.49 to 92.04. Again, we're kind of in the middle, a little bit closer here to our buy orders, but again, kind of in the middle there when it comes to between our buy and sell orders. Again, overall in the dollar, not enough pressure either way, up or down, for us to really get involved. When it comes to volatility, we look at the EVZ or EVZ, and we see from that that we'd expect a move up or down in one day of 0.34 points. In a week, 0.74 points up or down, or in a month, 1.55 points up or down. So again, gives us an idea of what we would expect up or down within these given periods of time in terms of movement, and then we can use our climate and UFOs to help figure out in which direction. Overall for the dollar, not enough probabilities one side or the other to really call it with any kind of authority really. So moving on to the next market, again in the meantime, you're probably already watching this on YouTube, or you might be watching this on Facebook. We have loads of other videos on our YouTube channel where we go into futures trading, stock trading, placing trades live in the market, sharpening sessions where we talk about certain concepts. So check out our YouTube channel and you can have a look at that. Again, if you're getting the overview and maybe you're reading it but you haven't got time to really read through it and double check it on a chart, again, you can just come and watch this every day. Hopefully 15-20 minutes in the background whilst you make your breakfast or something like that is helpful. Okay, let's look at this last market, which is the backed Bitcoin. Here we go. Okay, so let's just squidge this down a little bit. And there we go. Okay, so in this market, we have a confirmed upwards climate. Current market climate is up. It's confirmed, yes. Thick blue dot, not surprised. Pushes price there to the upside. Now, there's one thing on Bitcoin, or on backed Bitcoin, that we need to be aware of. Is that we don't yet have enough stats to be able to say what is usual. It's a relatively new product. Of course, Bitcoin is not as old as the US dollar or gold or oil I've got the other market that we look at, the S&P. So it's not old enough yet. We don't have enough data on a daily chart to really say what is usual, how much we could expect it to normally move to the upside or to the downside. So in this case, we know that we have been going up for 16 candles in a row on a daily chart, but we don't know whether or not that surpassed what is normal or whether that is normal or to be expected. So just bear that in mind when it comes to Bitcoin. In terms of UFOs, of course, not surprising, we've obviously seen in the news, and if you're in cryptos, in Bitcoin, you'll know that it's been shooting up quite a lot recently. So no surprise, we have no sell UFOs. There are no sell orders in the markets here that are being picked up by the app on a daily chart. We have buy UFOs just below us here, which is 35, it'll be this one here, 53,665 to 51,775.0. So that's our closest buy UFO. It looks like price is coming into it right now. So we have a confirmed upwards climate, probability to the upside. We don't know whether or not we can expect it to keep going up. And we also have a buy UFO just beneath us that it looks like price has already touched. It's very hard to see, it's very small, but it's already touched and started on its way out of there, which is again not surprising. We expect buy UFOs to push price upwards. So overall probability there to the upside there with Bitcoin. Now in terms of volatility, we use BVIN, and we see from that we would expect to move up or down in one day of 4,074.91 points, so 4,074.91 up or down. Weekly, we would expect to move up or down of 8,970.51, and in a month we would expect movement up or down of 18,673.6. Now these numbers are very big. They're a very high percentage of what the value of the Bitcoin is. Again, not surprising. If you followed cryptos, we understand they're a bit more volatile than what we could call traditional markets as a general rule. So again, just be aware of that. Volatility is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing that we need to be aware of, and we need to make sure that we're not getting involved in markets that are very volatile without understanding that and without managing our risk. So again, not a bad thing, just be aware of it, that we of course would expect volatility here on Bitcoin, and so make your decisions with that in mind. Okay, so let's say you have some questions and you're thinking, I don't know whether I should be trading futures of Bitcoin, should I just be trading cryptos themselves, maybe I should be in Forex, maybe I should be trading stocks, or I've been trading stocks for a long time but maybe I want to learn something else. Whatever it is, if you're confused about something or you're interested in learning something new about the markets but you're not really sure what will work out for you, you can schedule a self-schedule clarification call here with one of our experts to talk through, maybe you shouldn't even be trading, you know, and they'll talk through that with you. If you should be trading, maybe one market is better than the other, so for you, depending on what you want to do. So you can schedule a call, chat to one of our experts from there. Now, just to round this off, we have our weekly economic calendar. Essentially what we do is we go to the FX Street economic calendar, which if you just Google FX Street economic calendar, you'll find that, and we filter by high impact news, which means again we are aware of big things that are scheduled to come out in the news that could create volatility. They may not create volatility. Sometimes these things are already factored into the price at all. Sometimes scheduled events can have a big impact, so just be aware of it. Again, not to say that you would make decisions one way or the other, but be aware of it so that you can make your decisions around that. Whether or not you choose not to trade on those days on those specific currencies or stock markets, or maybe you choose to reduce your risk or have less trades, or maybe you carry on as normal, but just be aware of what's coming up. So today we have high impact news coming out for the pound, the euro, Japanese yen, I think that's Indian rupee, and then the New Zealand dollar. So we've got a lot of news coming out. I think I probably got that one wrong, so apologies for that. It might be Russian. We are expecting news on different currencies, different countries today, which may affect their stock markets, may affect their currency pairs. So again, just be aware of it. And we've got news coming out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday as well. So again, just be aware of that. Depending on what you trade, it might be more or less relevant to you. Okay, so that is the end of the market commentary. I went over by a couple of minutes today, so hopefully it makes sense what I've covered. Any questions, like I said at the start, I'm always happy to take questions by email, so you can email me, becky@tradictive.com, or come to tradewithufos.com/Becky, get yourself a free membership. Then you can ask a question in a public space for other people to see the answer, so that's a good way of doing things. Also, if you've set yourself up a free membership, you'll get this market commentary through as an email every day, where we'll tell you what the climate is for each of those markets, whether it's confirmed, where the closest buy UFOs are and sell UFOs are, and what the volatility expectation is as well. And then you can check out these videos. It might be me or my colleague Boyan explaining it in a bit more depth if you need them. Okay, so that is Monday's market commentary done. So we'll be back tomorrow. It'll be my colleague Boyan will be back tomorrow to do the market commentary tomorrow. Check us out on YouTube and other places where we might be doing other sessions in the meantime. Hope you guys have a great trading week ahead. Hope you guys have a great Monday, and I will catch you on Thursday. I'll be back then. Okay, take care guys. Bye-bye.